Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cinephilia.
Hello.
We're here. We're a little late, but we're here.
Actually here.
And I really hope the sound is working right now because I sort of just rushed in, turned everything on.
We're late and out of breath because I was in a complete rage today and Art had to hold me back.
And I was literally running in and out of this room. Literally running in and out of this room.
So, originally we were going to talk about another topic, and we got the Oscar nominations this morning, and I was like, we're going to change topics for today, and we're going to talk about the award season and the way award shows nominate and do
things.
Do things. And I'm also going to announce my own.
Yay! Thank you, Grant Cordy. I heard you were waiting for us. Thank you so much for
thanks for waiting. We're going to talk about the Oscar nominations. We're going to go through the award season and what awards mean for movies, and I'm going to announce my favorite movies of the year with my Wotties. Last year we did the Wotties to coincide with the Oscars, and this year, now that we're on Sundays, now that we're on Mondays, we're not going to coincide with the Oscars. No. So I figured now's a good time to do it because I need some good news after the announcements this morning.
Of course, says you guys are finally on. I know. It was my fault. It's because I worked today till 5 in another city.
Hardliner says, yeah, did you notice all the females that were nominated for Oscars? Wow. Yeah, or female directors is what he meant. It was a whole list of female directors not nominated. No. All male directors nominated. And then, did you see the nominations this morning?
I looked at them quickly, but I haven't looked them in depth.
But did you see because they do the
broadcast?
Yeah.
Nope.
So it was Issa Rae and John Cho announcing, and it's just like icing or salt and I was going to say icing the cake. That's completely wrong. It's like salt in the wound to have these two great people of color announcing all these white nominations. But then, as she said the nominations for Best Director, at the end, she goes, and congratulations to all those men. That's great.
I think there's always one person who throws in the opinion during the awards things.
So, we're going to get into all that, but I guess we need to do our regular things and go through news and trailers first.
Yeah. So, what's in the news today?
I guess Patrick Stewart just put his hands in the Walk of Fame today.
Oh, did he?
I think that's the thing.
Theater. At the Chinese Theater.
Not the Walk of Fame.
Right next to the Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
So they had the premiere for Picard there today.
Oh, that's what it was. So they premiered Picard there.
So people have seen it. Hi, Mitchie.
Thanks for the subscription.
And thanks for watching us from Cozumel.
Thanks for coming back to us and being part of our family, Mitchie.
Yay.
I hope you're enjoying your vacation. Dang it! Let me pull up my.
One of the news things that I saw today.
Yeah.
Was that apparently Rosario Dawson.
Oh yeah.
Is campaigning to play Ahsoka in The Mandalorian season 2, which I am fine with.
I think that would be good casting. If they include that character, which they need to in live action.
She'd be great.
If they're going to continue to do Star Wars live action, she should be a part of it.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a good cast.
And she's like the right age to what Ahsoka would be in The Mandalorian 2, but in their 40s-ish.
Yeah.
And so that would make sense, and I think I would be very happy with that.
There was a little bit of news from Marvel this week.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange director dropped out. Over creative differences. So they're currently looking for a new director, although Doctor Strange is not being pushed back or anything.
It's just going.
Yeah, they're going to go forward with it still. But they have to find a director for that slot. I wonder who it'll be. And then the other Marvel news is that a letter that was sent out to D23 members referred to New Mutants as an exciting new entry in the MCU. So two possible things are happening. Either one, which is I find to be very likely, is that whoever wrote this D23 email doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yes.
And are just referring to New Mutants as being a Marvel property, but not necessarily MCU. I find that highly likely, knowing how things work at Disney. But the other possibility is they could be pushing it into the MCU, and they could be finally introducing mutants. We'll see.
They took it back.
They did take it
They
back.
took it back.
I didn't see the take it back.
There was, on wherever that comment lives now on the web, on a website or wherever, they just took that part out. So they definitely very quietly took that back.
Yeah, I when I first read that, I was like, that's probably a mistake. Although I would personally love to see some of those cast members from New Mutants go over into the MCU when they start to introduce X-Men characters. But, we'll see. Also...
Oh, speaking of directors dropping out,
ooh,
if you were excited for the Lizzie McGuire comeback show on Disney+, the show creator of the show dropped out.
Oh, that's a shame.
Don't shame people's likes. Some people were excited for it.
Was it the same show director as the original show?
It was the creator of the show, yeah.
The creator of the show?
I think so, yeah.
So now they're continuing the show without its creator.
No, right now it's like...
Oh, so
It's like on hold.
Okay.
They haven't announced anything. It could potentially just not be happening anymore. Or they're on hold because it happened so suddenly that they can't announce anything.
Didn't the same thing just happen with the Hawkman show? Someone dropped out of the Hawkman show, and now that's on hold.
They didn't say
as well.
why. They just said it's on permanent hold. And so people are speculating two things. One, that it's because of the Jeremy Renner stuff that came out, that he's got some possible violent past with his ex-wife.
Oh, I didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah, there was like something where like, I think they've gotten divorced. There was something happened where she claimed that there was some physical altercation with a gun or something like that.
Hardliner, thanks for the correction. Hawkeye, not Hawkman.
Oh, Hawkeye, yeah, Hawkeye. So that, or the fact that they wanted, what's the girl's name? Steinfeld. She's a singer. She's in Bumblebee, the girl from Bumblebee. They want her to start as his daughter.
Oh.
And because she's more famous now, they might be waiting for her schedule to open up and place her, because they might really want her. So one of those two things, but they really didn't say why. Haley Steinfeld, thank you.
So that's also been pushed back.
Yeah.
For Disney Plus.
Oh wait.
What?
The news.
Also in the news this week, Seth MacFarlane has left Fox and has a new $200 million deal with NBC.
All right, good for him.
I don't know what for. I don't know what he's going to be developing there. There's no announcement as far as that. But not with Fox anymore. So I think that the Fox properties that Disney has gathered up aren't all, following through. I don't know. Like, I don't know the reason for the change. It might just be that they were offering more money. Or it might be that they were offering creative, that he could do whatever he wants, because Disney probably won't let him.
That possibly, and because he's so edgy and like kind of,
right.
He gets a little closer to dirty.
Yeah, Disney might not want Family Guy or American Dad.
I'm sure NBC was like, I will take him.
Yeah. So, and also, I was just about to bring up the Orville. Manly Mutt brought it up. Orville is going to Amazon or Netflix, so. Because Disney is also, in charge of Hulu now. So we'll see what happens with all of that.
Yeah, as long as the show keeps going, because it's a good show, I think.
It is a good show. I like it.
I like it.
There's also three more things that I can say real quick. There's a TV adaptation of Chucky coming, like a new Chucky series. Yeah. That could be good or bad. I can see it going either way.
It's kind of cool, though. If it's a series, more than likely it's going to be a puppet, because it's easier to shoot the puppet than to wait for visual effects.
But the puppet is always the best part of Chucky. So I'm looking forward to that.
So some lucky few puppeteers are going to get some work. So I'm happy with that. Also, although it's probably going to be terrible.
Probably. But I'm looking forward to it. Also in horror news, Shudder, the horror streaming channel, has a new horror movie called The Deadlands coming out, a Shudder exclusive original. That is a Maori horror movie.
Ooh.
So that could be really cool. I don't know much about it, but it's called The Deadlands. And then also, not in horror news, but the director of Akira, Katsuhiro Otomo, announced that there's a sequel TV series to Akira in the work and a new film.
Wow.
So.
New film, like, it doesn't say what, like a sequel or like a remake. It just says a new film.
It doesn't say what, but I guess he's involved with it. I think that as far as him being involved, that kind of leans towards it being animated and maybe in the same continuity as the previous Akira.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It could be a remake.
Or
I
if
hope
it's-
that it's not live
Or
action.
if it is a live action, then at least it has him.
That's true. Although the original director of Ghost in the Shell was fine with the live action Ghost in the Shell, so
But was he part of it? Was he involved?
I don't remember offhand.
Maybe.
So that's the news I have today.
That's me.
Other than the Oscar nominations that we're going to get into.
I still feel winded. I'm still like.
Well, you can catch your breath while we watch some trailers.
And now, some trailers. Trailers. So, what do we got?
Oh, it's a close-up on you, Art.
Oh. Hi. Let me go back and fix that for a
No,
second.
we can just get your reaction the whole time. Are you sure you don't want to close up for the trailers? So we have a few trailers to go. Are we going to watch all of our trailers today, or
Just a few of them.
we have a
But
couple
definitely those
trailers?
we talked about.
There's a Morbius trailer that debuted today. I have not watched. I haven't watched any of the trailers we're going to watch today, but we're going to watch that. There's a new Birds of Prey trailer that apparently makes the movie look a lot better than the last one, and I've avoided watching that until this show, so we're going to watch that. And what was the other one? Just those two?
And Lock and Key.
Oh, and Lock and Key. There's finally a trailer for Lock and Key, which Art is very excited about. He's been waiting for that forever, so we're going to watch that as well.
OBS does this thing that whenever we turn on and off the computer, it resets the sizes of everything.
No.
All right.
Hardliner says he's excited to see our opinion of the Morbius trailer.
Do you want to start with that?
Sure.
Let's start with Morbius.
Reed H. Cooper watched the Morbius trailer 3 times and liked it.
Okay, let's see.
Are you a big trailer?
What happened
We
to
got
the
no
sound?
sound.
It was working earlier. Just fixed this. I literally, before the show started, hey, Will, let's check the sound. Oh, it's working.
It was working.
Hold on.
They can hear it. We can't hear it.
Hold on. Yeah. Why did that go away?
So, here's my dance for you guys. For you guys in the chat who already have seen the Oscar nominations, you have to let us know what you think. I'm going to announce some of the nominations as we go through the show, and you guys can react to them. But if
I got a countdown for it.
Michael, I've known you since you were a child. You're a gift. You always have. If there's an answer to your disease, you'll find it.
I should have died years ago. Why am I still here if not to fix this? I have a rare blood disease, and I'm running out of time. This could be my last chance.
You're up to something. What is it?
It's not exactly legal.
I don't want to see you get hurt more than you already have.
This would be a cure.
At what cost? Michael, what's happening?
I went from dying to feeling more alive than ever. Increased strength and speed. The ability to use echolocation. And an overpowering urge to consume blood. be allowed to go. You'll fix something that's broken. Until the remedy is worse than the disease.
Rewind
Michael
and pause
Morby.
this thing. Oh, there was more, and I cut it out.
Damn it, Art.
I'm on the fence too. It doesn't look bad.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't look bad, but I'm also not excited for it.
I'm like,
So
yeah, I still don't know. This is only the first teaser, so
I
we don't know
like
that
I
much.
like the over the shoulder look he gave at the end. It looks
Yeah.
very much like the character from
Yeah.
the comics. So
It's got-
I want to see more of him.
It's a couple good actors that I've seen in there. I'm okay.
Oh, Reed H. Cooper is referring to the abs. I think.
Oh.
At least that's what I assume. That's what I would rewind and pause.
Yeah,
for.
man, was that Matt Smith in there? Yeah, that was Matt Smith. So I'm okay with that. I love Matt
Hardliner
Smith.
says he likes my shirt and wants to know what the reference is. So this shirt is a shirt
Hold
that
on,
I
let me open up.
okay.
How you tell them?
This shirt is a shirt that I created when us puppeteers were forming a union at Disney and fighting,
Things went
fighting
sour.
the good fight.
You might have heard the story. We'll tell it again at some point.
So we as puppeteers were the bargaining unit, and that's where this shirt comes
That's
from.
what they called.
We
That's
were-
what they kept
we were
doing
in
this.
A box.
Whenever
we were
we,
in the bargaining unit box.
whenever management spoke to us, they always said bargaining unit. They did a little box for some reason.
Kind of like Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction. So that's what the inspiration for this shirt is. Should we go into another trailer?
Let's try this button. Let's try this button. Let's do Lock and Key.
Okay.
Because I love Lock and Key. So this is a graphic
Hey, check it
novel
out.
series
We're here.
that I really enjoyed.
Welcome to Key House.
I didn't finish it.
I could never get your father to talk about his life here. My kids need a home.
I feel like this is gonna
Does it have to be this home?
Hello? Are you my echo?
So
Yes.
Yeah.
Key house
They'll probably just do the
is filled with amazing keys. Listen for them. They whisper. You hear that?
like when you just bring
Bodhi? Holy crap. How is any of this possible?
This isn't a game. We don't know what these keys unlock.
You woke me up. You woke me up. You have no idea what's coming.
There is a crazy evil thing who wants these keys. These aren't toys. They're weapons.
These keys, they're our legacy. There's something that connects us with Dad.
The past is always with us. You can try and run away. But it's always there. Whatever you think you understand about those keys, you don't.
That's a really
That looks cool, isn't it?
fun trailer
So I've been waiting for the series for a long time
for a long time.
because I read the graphic novels and then Fox actually shot a pilot for this, and it went out and didn't get picked up. So this pilot's been like.
Did you see the pilot?
No, I've seen pictures of the pilot.
How did it look?
It looks similar to this. It looked okay, but it was only a couple shots. So Joe Hill is who wrote this, and he is Stephen King's son. And so and it's a weird. They go to this house and there's all these keys, and each key does something different. Like when you saw that kid walk through that door, that key to that door, when you walk through it, you walk through it, you turn into a ghost. And each key does a bunch of different other weird things in the house. So I don't know. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, I think.
And I like it as a series better than a movie because they were trying to do a movie as well.
I think. I mean, series in general just allowed a lot more depth because you can spend more time getting to know things, and especially something like this where there's so many keys and you can do stories a different way with an element like that. Like an episode could be about this key or that key, so you can explore more than a movie would allow you to do. I love the look of this. It feels really fun. It feels almost like Haunting of Hill House, the Netflix series.
A little bit, yeah.
But in a more kid-friendly way, if that makes sense. Like it's more colorful. It's got like a younger feel to it, and that's not a bad thing. I think that's a fun thing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It could be fun.
Cool. And then we're gonna do one more.
One more trailer.
One more trailer. Where's the button? There's the button. So somebody said, all we hear is the trailer. Can't you hear you talking? Does that mean because we're not loud enough, or you like not hear us talking at all? Which we don't have to talk during the trailer. We're just saying stupid things during the trailer. We're going, oh, wow, cool, whoopee, whoa, wait. We can't hear you at all during the trailer. Wow. I think it's just the trailer is really loud.
Okay. We won't talk during the trailer.
I'll turn it down a little bit.
But I will say, as a preference before we get into this next trailer, that I'm actually looking forward to this movie, but I've hated the way it's been marketed. So I'm hoping that this trailer will give me what I really want. This is the trailer or the new trailer for the Birds of Prey movie.
Pow!
Now we're not getting something. Oh, yes, we are.
Yeah, it's fine.
Can I help you?
Why, yes, you can. I'm here to report a terrible crime.
And what terrible crime is that?
This one. Ah, shit. I told this all wrong. Quick history lesson. This all started when the Joker and I broke up. It was completely mutual. And soon enough, I was back on my feet, ready to embrace the fierce goddess within. It's oh so quiet. Now that I cut ties with Mr. J, I'm about to learn that a lot of people want me dead. All alone. And at the top of that list is this guy. And so peaceful. But it turns out that wasn't the only dame in Gotham looking for emancipation. You fall in love. He's after all of us. The kid just robbed him. You betrayed him. You killed his BFF.
What?
You are so cool. You never. And you're dumb enough to be building a case against him. So, unless we all want to die very unpleasant death, we're gonna have to work together. Sure. Psychologically speaking, vengeance rarely brings the catharsis we hope for. Yeah. Are we ready? You blow up fuse. Devil cut loose. So what's the use?
Turn it up!
When you fall in love.
Oh shit, is that a hyena in a bathtub?
I named him Bruce after that hunky Wayne guy.
So what do you think?
So, this trailer is leaps above the last one.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're finally seeing who the Birds of Prey characters are, because it is their movie as much as Harley Quinn is the center of it. The Birds of Prey in the comics are an amazing team, and the previous marketing didn't show them off at all. So we're actually getting to see who they are in this.
I like the cast a lot.
The cast is great. We actually saw a Black Mask with a black mask on. And a big problem that I had with the last trailer was that the ADR in it drove me crazy. It was so bad. And this actually, the movie just looks better. Like, this is a better trailer. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too.
I will stand by Suicide Squad was an awful movie, but Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn was great. She makes a great Harley Quinn. A lot of the DCEU has some good casting and some bad movies. So hopefully we get good casting and good movies.
Yeah.
That's what I would like.
Reed H. Cooper says, an older Renee is interesting.
It is interesting. I was wondering why they went that route with her, but I'm fine with it. Like, I like Rosie Perez, so we'll see where they go with that character.
And Harley says, love roller skating Harley.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how they're playing Ewan McGregor as Black Mask, but we'll see. Because he's a pretty hardcore villain in the comics. And I know Ewan McGregor can do it, but I don't. There were some. I heard some rumblings that Black Mask is supposed to be gay in this movie, and would be cool. But I wonder how that plays into effect to the point where they have to let us know that ahead of time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what the intentions with this Black Mask are, is what I'm saying. But we'll see.
We'll see.
So I guess it's time to talk about.
It's time to talk.
Those Oscar nominations this morning.
And also, just before we go, if you see me look over there severely distracted, it's because Ryan is shaking a bottle of paint loudly.
Am I? Right now?
Was.
Like 3 minutes ago.
No, I just want to know if it happens again, I am going to be distracted. I don't want to interrupt in the trailer.
There's construction work happening over.
Yeah, there's a
on this
whole
side.
lot of distracting happening right
there
here.
are things happening. So.
Yeah.
So, how should we begin? You want me to go through some of the nominations?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let me bring up my list of nominations.
There are some interesting nominations.
Let's now let's
No,
just
go
start.
ahead.
I want to start
gonna
with the big one, the best movie. What is the best?
Best film
Best
nominations?
film, yeah.
The best film nominations are...
Because I still think it's incredibly ridiculous that we're nominating like 10 movies. I do not like it.
Wait, yeah, okay,
There it is, I found it.
Let's talk about... Okay, let's go through the nominations and let's talk about why we're getting so many nominations now.
Best Motion Picture of the Year nominees: Ford vs. Ferrari, The Irishman, which is surprising because it's a Netflix thing, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So,
Yeah.
we didn't always used to get this many nominations. And it used to be that the nominations were just like a smaller group selected for Best Picture like any other category. And then there was complaint that the nominations weren't diverse enough. And so they expanded the nominations so that more films would get a chance to be nominated for Best Picture in hopes that there would be some diversity. Mm-hmm. That's how we ended up with this many nominees.
And then we didn't.
And then there's no diversity. Parasite, I absolutely love Parasite, and I think Parasite getting nominated for lots of things is great. But that one movie does not create diversity. And I feel like I was kind of upset with the nominations that the Golden Globes put forward. Mm-hmm. But even the Golden Globes were more diverse than this. The Golden Globes barely nominated any diversity, and yet they still represented women and people of color and queer stories better than the Oscars. Like, Oscars So White, hashtag Oscars So White started trending a few years ago. But now I feel like and I'm taking this from my friend Johnny Gazmonic, who's another film critic. He added that not only is this year hashtag Oscars So White, but also hashtag Oscars So Male and hashtag Oscars So Straight. Like, all of the great movies, all the movies I love this year, and I know this is a personal thing because I'm not part of the voting committee for the Oscars, but all the movies I love this year were just snubbed, like, except for Parasite, The Lighthouse, which got a cinematography nod, and
Jojo Rabbit.
I mean, out of my top 10.
Oh, your top 10.
Jojo Rabbit didn't make my top 10, but Jojo Rabbit is a good movie.
It's a good
I
movie.
feel like that's, in most of its cases, is a better nomination than some others. Scarlett Johansson has been nominated for 2 awards this year, one of which is Jojo Rabbit, the other which is Marriage Story. I feel like her performance is better in Marriage Story, as much as I did not really like that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get her nomination for Jojo Rabbit.
She was good in the movie. She was fine, but I don't think she was.
There was nothing
to
special
stand
about
out of it. She did her job. She did her job well.
Right.
But she wasn't the thing to nominate about that movie.
But that's the thing, is that there are so many great things happening in film right now, and awards, these big elite awards, just keep nominating and giving attention to such basic films. Like, it's or even if not the film, then basic performances or things like that. And it's disheartening.
Yeah.
And I go through this every year. I said the same thing on our episode last year about the Oscars. I go through it every year where I know that I'm not going to be happy with the nominations that the Oscars bring. But yet I get excited for the Oscars leading up to it, and then the nominations come out and I get upset. It happens every single year. So I guess it's craziness on my part that I keep expecting them to do better. I can't really expect it from them.
Yeah, and somebody said, Colin says, the kid should have been nominated. He carried Jojo Rabbit. Like, yeah, why wasn't he nominated?
His performance in it was a lot better than ScarJo's.
He literally was the movie.
Right.
That little kid and his little friend were amazing actors.
His little friend was
so freaking
really
cute.
great in that. Reed H. Cooper says, Harriet Tubman got nominated. Will, diversity. So let me get into that, because we actually had a great performance from a black actress this year. And it's a very layered performance. There's a lot of complexity to it. There's a lot going on with it. But it came in a horror movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's just one. There are lots of great performances by numerous black actors and actresses, numerous people of color actors and actresses. And that was the diversity that we got, is Oscars putting their foot down into that slave narrative yet again. If there's a slave movie, that's the one that's going to nominate any black actors over slave, or if not slavery, then black people as maids and servants, like in The Help. Those are the movies that get Oscar attention, and it's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating that there's so much greatness happening that isn't getting recognized. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So, in addition to talking about the Oscars tonight, I'm going to go through my Wotties and give out what I thought were the best. And this is all my personal opinion. This isn't even Art. Art has his own.
I'm not invited to the Wotties.
You can make up your own things. You can have the Arties.
What do you want to tell people if we don't know what the Wotties are?
The Wotties are the awards that I give to, or not even an award, because I don't make enough money to give out trophies, although I do illustrate trophies. But the recognition that I like to give to my favorite movies of the year, not just like, this is, a great movie, so you should see it, but I actually go through, have my categories, and give out what I think was the best of the year. It's just a personal opinion of mine. So we're going to go through those, and since I've already brought up this great performance in this horror movie by a black actress, I'm going to go ahead and announce that my best performance of the year goes to Lupita Nyong'o for Us.
Lupita wasn't able to be here to accept their award.
Unfortunately,
But,
I can't wait for that to happen. That'd be awesome. But the reason why I chose her, because another performance that I was also going back and forth with, because I love her performance, but I also love Taron Egerton as Elton John in Rocket Man, which also was not even nominated at all for an Oscar. He was not nominated for Best Actor, and nothing about that movie was nominated. So, but the reason I chose Lupita over all the other great performances this year is, one, she actually plays two characters in that movie.
Yeah.
She plays them great. She plays them against each other. And she also, each one of those characters separately has their own levels of complexities that are going on. So we get a full range of things from Lupita in that. And it's a shame that, because it's a horror movie, most people just toss it to the side as being like a genre movie. It's a fun movie, but it's not like important for the industry or anything like that. So yeah, I give Lupita my best performance of the year. And in addition to Lupita and Us, I'm also going to give my best score to Us from composer Michael Abels, because I think that was a fun score. I think the most memorable thing about it is the way that it uses melodies from hip hop culture and brings it into the movie. I think that's the most memorable part about it, but it's not the only great thing about the score. There are lots of things that just create great mood in the music in that film. So, Us gets best score and best performance. So going back to like the Oscar nominations, if you were to pick from, well, I guess you haven't seen all those movies.
But I could tell you which ones I wouldn't pick.
We did finally both watch Joker. I did finally watch Harriet, and was really not impressed with either one of them.
Yeah, I mean, Joker was fine for me. I didn't hate it, but I also was like, meh.
I hated it.
There are parts that I like. There was a few things that I actually did really like, but as a whole, I was like, meh. But yeah, like I don't understand why Once Upon a Time in Hollywood isn't maybe because there's 10. If there was 5, definitely not in there. No, not even 10.
That's
not even 10.
But that's not true.
It would still be up there. It might
because
even win.
It's Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio,
and they were great. They themselves were great. I like Brad Pitt getting nominated. I don't mind. He was playing Brad Pitt, but he was good and it was entertaining. But they were not the problem. The movie was the problem, and the directing, which is why I don't understand why Tarantino's as best director.
What about Ford versus Ferrari?
I didn't even want to see that. That just sounded so boring.
Rita H. Cooper is asking, what kind of tablet laptop are you on? Oh, I'm using an iPad Pro that I use for almost everything in my life. So yeah, neither one of us are like crazy about the Joker, and yet Joker leads the nomination.
Yeah.
It got 11 nominations from the Oscars this morning, and
I mean, I don't mind some of them, like cinematography, I think costume design. Some of those I like cinematography a lot, actually, on Joker. Costume, I like the costumes.
I'm surprised that, so there are movies that I know that I love that are not going to get nominated from the Oscars. Movies like my top 2 movies of the year, I guess if I have to say it that way, and we're talking about best pictures anyway, I'm just going to jump straight to my best picture. My best picture of the year is The Last Black Man in San Francisco. I think it was amazing, but no one's seen it. So I am not surprised that did not get a nomination from the Academy. So there are those movies that like even if you love them, they're not going to get nominated. Same thing with Us. It's not going to get nominated. But then there are movies that you really think are in the realm of getting a nomination, especially with other award shows leading up to the Oscars, like the Golden Globes, and other big awards, critic awards, and all those different things leading up to the Oscars, which is the big climax of award season. And I cannot believe that like The Farewell didn't get nominated for anything. Anything, not even a nomination for anything. Like even if it didn't win, Farewell didn't get nominated for anything. Taron Egerton didn't get nominated for Rocketman, and I was really expecting Dolomite Is My Name to at least get nominated for like costume or hair and makeup, and it didn't. And it's just like, there are those movies that you think are in the realm, and they not even those. They just
I think maybe explanation of how these award things work is outside of the political stuff that like people gatekeeping and people who know each other, all that stuff. There's also the matter of marketing for award season. So the way the nominations work for a lot of these awards is they out of their voting group, they select a smaller group and they send them all the movies. They send them a shit ton of movies, and they have to watch all these movies, and then from there they vote on who should get nominated.
Right.
But so if you're a movie with a lot of budget who can market, saying then, hey, watch our movie, watch our movie, watch our movie. You see posters everywhere for the people who are nominating. You're gonna go to those movies that you've heard. Because I was part of one of those nomination groups. You're gonna pick up the ones that you've heard of. I'm this one because you don't have time to watch the dozens and dozens of movies. So those movies with who people know and those names that are familiar to you are the ones you're gonna watch, and then those are the ones you're gonna vote for.
Right.
And so that's why these movies get nominated. So that smaller movie doesn't have the budget to like market that isn't gonna get watched or very unlikely to get watched, as opposed to something like Joker, which has been everywhere. It's gonna get watched by everybody nominating.
But that's why I say like these other awards that are leading up to the Oscars usually play a factor into people recognizing movies.
Yeah.
And then,
so there's all these like obstacles. So there's the politics.
Right.
There's that I just talked about, and then there's gatekeeping.
Yes.
And then there's racial stuff.
Yes.
So there's like all these doors that these little movies have to get through, and it just doesn't.
And it's like you were saying, like there's a group of people who are doing these nominations, and often, especially with the Academy Awards, because they are a Hollywood thing, a lot of them are friends nominating each other.
Yeah.
A lot of them are, because those are the movies they're going to watch because they're things that they recognize. And so that's why, like, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a shoo-in for, like, even if it was 3 movies in a Best Picture nomination category, I feel like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood would be in there.
Because it's about Hollywood.
So the other thing with awards is, and this is, Reed H. Cooper and I were having a conversation online, and he also brought up like all the union stuff. But in addition, it's he brought up the fact that these awards don't really mean much, or maybe that I don't remember what your words were exactly. I don't want to put words in your mouth. But these award shows are a specific little segment of filmmaking. And what award shows don't necessarily go by is actual talent, like, or whether a movie is good or bad. And it's unfortunate that that's the case, but like you were saying, there's a lot of things that they have to go through. But the reason that that so many people get upset about it is that even though there's a lot of or upset about, I feel like I'm skipping thought processes. The reason that a lot of people get upset about the nominations when they aren't more diverse or lending to a more progressive field, I guess. I don't know how to say it. When it's just like a lot of the same thing over and over again. The reason that people get upset about that is because even though the awards do not dictate what is actually a good movie or not, they do change things in the industry.
Yeah.
And they are important for the industry. So when we get a lot of the same people getting recognition, it means that a lot of people who could actually use the recognition to help their career don't get it. For example, Brie Larson. Brie Larson was no one before she did The Room.
The Room, yeah.
She won the award. She came out of nowhere. I mean, she had done a few movies before that. She had actually directed before that. So it's not that she hadn't put work in, because she had, but her work had not been recognized until The Room. And after The Room, she spearheaded straight towards, big budget Marvel.
Yeah.
Whether or not she's actually well cast in that role is another debate we can have. But it is without any question that the reason she was cast in that role was because of she suddenly had name recognition. And that's because she had won an Oscar for her performance in The Room, which her performance in The Room was great. It was Oscar worthy.
I actually really enjoyed that movie.
Right, and so it's great that she got that. But that's the thing, is that if we're only nominating, that's why these hashtags start to trend, because if we're only nominating a certain type of people and only giving recognition to a certain type of people, like I was saying earlier, there's so many great things happening in film that just isn't being recognized. Then those people who aren't getting recognized will just continue to not go anywhere. I think that we're also at a point where, thankfully, social media is involved.
Yeah.
To kind of keep checks and balances on a lot of this stuff, so that social media can go, yeah, these nominations are crap, and these are the things that are good, and so people get recognition that way. But
and slowly maybe start picking or legitimizing these terrible choices and this process that doesn't work. We start chipping at it a little bit by having opinions that have to be heard now.
But award season is just so, and it's like, I'm not sure how many are voting in the Academy for the Oscars, but you said last week that the Golden Globes is only like 80 people,
yeah,
which is small compared to audiences. And then we get movies like Critics' Choice Awards, and you can see from movies like that, or even like MTV Awards, where
voting membership of 7,000.
7,000
as of
for
2018.
So that's a lot bigger than the Hollywood Foreign Press, but it's a lot of 7,000 friends.
Yeah, and that's after things have been nominated improperly. Then there's the voting.
There was you were talking about other what?
British Cooper says the SAG Awards seem more realistic, and that's still members only. Yeah, I feel like the SAG Awards are the ones that I sort of kind of feel a little bit better.
Well, because actors are on a little lower playing field than like producers and executives, who are a lot of the people who are voting for the Academy.
There are more actors. There's more normal people in the SAG than there are in the Producers Guild, Directors Guild, the Academy.
SAG actors are quite often people who still have to pay rent.
I'm a voting SAG member.
Whereas
I have to vote in 4 days.
Whereas people voting in the Academy often own their big houses.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna rent forever.
But what I was saying is, then you get award shows like MTV Movie Awards or Critics' Choice Awards that may seem a little like not as important, but they are, because they kind of dictate pop culture, and you can see the differences in award shows like that, like how elite the Oscars are, whereas the MTV Movie Awards gave Best Kiss to, I mean, the fact that they have a Best Kiss category to begin with, but then they give Best Kiss to like Batman and Catwoman. So, you see fun stuff like that. But awards are just, I think it's important. What I was trying to get to with what Reed H. Cooper was saying is, I think it's important to understand that award shows are just a small fraction, and what you enjoy as a person is far more important than what.
Yeah, it's just a small subsection of somebody's opinion. It's like you have critics' opinion, you have audience's opinions. You can follow some critics that you like,
Right.
that you agree with, and it's nice to follow them.
Like us. Thank you for following us.
But it's still their opinion.
Right.
And so, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, we differ, we're, even we differ opinions from you guys as well.
We differ opinions from you guys. We differ opinions for ourselves as well. So, whatever makes a movie important to you, this is why I started the Wotties, because movies were and are important to me and weren't getting recognition. So I was like, I'm going to give it some recognition. Thank you for the subscription.
Thanks, man of
God. So whatever movies are important to you are still important, not just because they don't get nominated for stuff.
So like what you like.
Like what you like. I'm going to give another award, another recognition. I already said that Last Black Man in San Francisco was my best picture. There's some other things that I would give to that movie as well. I actually thought this is one of my silly awards. So I have 3 silly awards that I give with my Wotties. One is Best Animated Hair, Cinematic Side Eye, and Best Performance by a Non-Sentient Object. And obviously, I don't know how many of you have actually seen The Last Black Man in San Francisco, but it's all about gentrification and this guy losing the house that belonged to his family for so long as San Francisco starts to change. And so the house is by far the best performance by a non-sentient object in a movie. And I would also say that Last Black Man in San Francisco would be the best drama of the year. If you guys have not seen this movie, please check it out and let me know what you think. Because, like I said, it's a movie that is not getting recognition. I think it deserves recognition. And I hope more people find it and discover it in the next year. The other 2 of those silly nominations I would give Best Animated Hair to the short Hair Love, which was all about a little black girl figuring out how to do her hair, and it was great, and it was nicely animated. It's nice to see black hair texture animated well, because it's a very different kind of thing, and I love drawing black hair, so it was just good to see that. And I would also give Cinematic Side Eye to The Lighthouse, because there's a one-eyed seagull in it that gives Robert Pattinson what for.
Gooch Camper says Last Black Man in San Francisco is on Amazon Prime, free.
It is. Now. You guys should watch it. I own it. I was lucky enough to get it as a Christmas gift, and it was my most beloved Christmas gift.
Or if you don't have Amazon Prime, you can rent it on YouTube for $4.99.
Rent it.
And I'm sure you can on iTunes as well.
It's totally worth the watch. And what's also interesting about Last Black Man in San Francisco is that it's a first-time feature film director, first-time actor in the lead role, feature film actor. And then there's also like these other people that pop up in the supporting cast that are great, like Tashish, can't say her name. Yep. Tashina Arnold shows up as the lead character's aunt. Danny Glover is in it as the lead character's best friend's grandfather. And then the best friend is Jonathan Majors, who is also an actor who needs a lot more recognition than he's getting. He's kind of new, but he's done a lot of work already and is really great. He's going to be starring in the Lovecraft Country television show that's in the works. So that should be interesting. And Mike Epps is in it, as Hardliner has said. It's a great cast. And there's very little fault that I would have with the movie that we can talk about more after you guys have already seen it, because I don't want to give anything away. Dave is in the chat giving Jonathan Majors hard eyes. So the one movie that I am hoping wins Best Picture because it actually got nominated for the Oscar is Parasite, because I thought Parasite was amazing. And did you see Parasite?
Not yet.
Did you get a screener for it?
I got a screener, yeah.
Okay, you gotta watch it.
I make time for it.
It's a great movie. It's number 3. It's my 3rd favorite movie of the year. The only things above it are Last Black Man in San Francisco is number 1, Number 2 is Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which got pushed back so that no one has seen it unless you rushed out to see it in that 1 week that it was available in New York and LA, but it hasn't gotten its wide release yet.
Mitch Cooper says, Art, how many screeners have you watched? A few. I watched Jojo Rabbit. I watched Hustlers.
Hustlers was good.
I enjoyed it. I was pretty surprisingly a good movie.
Yeah, it was.
A Joker. I'm gonna watch Parasite before I have to vote. Which is on Friday.
Yeah, you have to. So, that's this Friday?
I think it's Friday.
You have to watch everything by this Friday?
17, yeah.
Okay.
Votes are due on Friday.
How many screenings do you have to get through?
A lot.
Oh my God. See, this is why I want to be part of a whatever to get screeners and watch things, because I will actually watch everything.
It's been a rough year. We're working on it. This year's 2020 is the year I work on my movie watching. So I don't have to watch screeners. So screeners is just where I catch up.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, even not just for you, but for everyone. Like, if you're in the movie business, you would think that you enjoy watching movies as well. So I always feel like screeners are just like, in case you missed it.
Or you want to rewatch it.
Or you want to rewatch it and get a second, opinion for yourself. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the people in the industry, granted everyone's working as well as they should be, but I feel like a lot of people in the industry don't watch a lot of movies outside of their circle, and that is what causes problems.
Cousin Hood says, "Hi friends, long time. How's it going?
Hey, Cousin Hood.
Been a while.
It has been a long time. Welcome back." Yeah, Hardliner says, Portrait of a Lady on Fire's distribution rights were bought by Neon and Hulu, so it makes me think it eventually end up on Hulu. I'm sure it will end up on Hulu. I can tell you that it originally was supposed to come out earlier, before the 2019 ended. Neon decided that they would push it back, probably smartly in consideration of how much money it might make, because if it was released when they originally intended, along with like all the big movies like Star Wars, it probably would have gotten lost. So they pushed it back to Valentine's Day is when it's actually getting a wide release. But that unfortunately just means that no one has seen it yet. Like it played limited release in LA and New York. So I rushed to see it in LA. And I can't talk about it to anyone because I literally only know like 2 or 3 people who have seen it. But I will say it's getting my best cinematography for the year. It's a beautiful movie. And I was on the fence between that and Last Black Man in San Francisco, which is also a beautiful movie. But I think Portrait of a Lady on Fire just edges it out a little bit. Because a lot of the cinematography in Last Black Man in San Francisco feels like portrait work, which is amazing in film to see like moving portraits. Every single shot in that movie is gorgeous and set up perfectly. But I think Portrait of a Lady on Fire actually does more in storytelling with with its cinematography. So I think it just edges out just a little bit. So that one gets the award for that. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that movie when you finally get a chance to see it. And hopefully it will be on Hulu eventually if you can't see it in theaters. But back to Parasite, I'm actually giving Parasite Best Director for Bong Joon-ho. You guys know we love Bong Joon-ho here. And also Best Screenplay, just because it is a well thought out and intricately laid movie. There's a lot going on in it, but everything flows perfectly. All the twists that have to happen perfectly. It's a movie that even in its marketing says there's a twist coming. Yeah. And so you expect a twist, but when you're watching the movie and it happens, you're like, oh fuck, that was a twist. Like you still don't see it coming. So it's a very well put together movie, and I think it deserves recognition for that. I also want to say that the cinematographer for Portrait of a Lady on Fire is named Clara Mathon, I just want to put her name out there since she did such a great job. So you said earlier in an earlier episode that Jojo Rabbit was your favorite movie of the year.
So far of all this ever saw, all the stuff that I saw might change when I see Parasite.
Might change.
Might change. But then Jojo Rabbit will be number 2.
But Jojo Rabbit is a good movie, and I think that one is at least worthy of its recognition.
Yeah.
I don't. There's so many movies on that Best Picture list that I just don't.
No. They really need to get rid of this 10 movie thing. It's so stupid, and then just actually give us the good movies. They're not gonna.
I don't get why we need Marriage Story up there. I found. I may be the only person to say it, but I just found The Irishman so long and boring.
I started it.
And
then I was like as another yeah.
I just don't get it. I honestly don't. And Martin Scorsese is a great director, but he has been for a long time and has been doing the same shit for a long time. So
give us another shit, what's that movie? Hugo, give us something else like that.
Oh, here's one. Let's go through some of the other nominations since we talked about
Best motion picture or just in general?
No, let's do another category. What else were you surprised by the nominations?
Oh, okay. So best song. They did this for other stuff too. Why is Into the Unknown being the song from Frozen that we're nominating instead of the other song that's the important one? Just because it's the catchy one?
Well, let's talk about this. Why are we... I feel like the only reason that Into the Unknown is actually nominated is because they did not nominate Frozen 2.
They didn't?
They didn't. Disney did not get the animation nomination. Pixar did. Toy Story 4 was nominated. Missing Link was nominated. I Lost My Body, which is on Netflix, was nominated. I have not watched it yet, but I'm looking forward to that because I've heard that's really good. And How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World was nominated. And Klaus. Klaus is also on Netflix, which was great. I was surprised that Toy Story 2 was not nominated for this category. And I wonder if, because we're talking about diversity in film, that's what I said.
You said Toy Story
2. Oh, I meant Frozen 2. Toy Story 4 was nominated.
That was a few years ago.
No, I'm wondering if Frozen 2 was not nominated because of its subject matter.
Because it's women power, and they're like, enough of that.
No, not even women empowerment.
What is it?
The fact that it tackles white privilege.
Yeah, none of that.
None of that. Well, I mean, it could be women empowerment too, because we are not empowering women with these awards.
Because there was no danger in empowering anybody with Toy Story. It was just like toys, free.
Right. And I feel like the reason that I like Toy Story 4 so much, because Toy Story 4 would get my best animated movie. I'll say that. Toy Story 4 is my Wottie for best in animation. Yeah. But the reason that I like Toy Story 4 is so subtle that I feel like that isn't even the reason that it's... I feel like they just nominated it just because it's Pixar and Toy Story and recognizable. The reason that Toy Story 4 is my personal favorite movie of the year, despite the fact that I love that Frozen fucking told people that white privilege exists and you need to fucking change your ways. Toy Story 4 has a whole theme of counterculture in it, which I talked about on the show before. Yeah. And Bo Peep, I'm actually going to say, is my favorite character in movies in 2019. Just because she represents a different way to look at how we view culture. Like, the system that we're in is fucked. I'm just going to say it. But we can look at things differently, and we can change things about that system, and we can see that there are better ways to live without having to live the way others dictate us to live.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of Toy Story 4 that I think makes it amazing. But I don't think that's why it was nominated.
Do you think they thought about that? No. If had they thought about that, they would have gone none of that.
Exactly. That would have been right off to the side along with Frozen 2.
And I'm gonna guess that Toy Story is gonna win.
Well,
but in the past they have surprised us.
Do you remember who won for the Golden Globe? No. I mean, I cannot. I usually say that the Golden Globes are a nice precursor for the Oscars, but so much has been shaken up by these Oscar noms that I can't even say that because Awkwafina won a Golden Globe. She's not going to win an Oscars because she's not even nominated. Taron Egerton won for Elton John, his portrayal of Elton John, but he's not going to win because he wasn't even nominated. So I want to say that the Golden Globes are a precursor, but they may not be. But the best animated movie at the Golden Globes was Missing Link, which was the first big win for them.
Yeah, which I would be happy. I didn't even see Missing Link, but I love Laika and I think they do good work. Even when they don't, they still do. Even their weakest movies are still. It's kind of like Pixar, where you see one of their weakest movies, you're like, okay, but they did this, and this. Even though if it was the weak movie, they still did a lot of decent things. I know you don't like The Good Dinosaur.
Yeah. But I will admit that there are good things about The Good Dinosaur.
I'm just going to say, even when they fail, they don't fail like other people fail.
Right. And I have seen Missing Link, and it is a technical feat. Like, it's amazing. All of the fact that they do so much in stop motion when everything else is so digital is important in its own. Like, it's amazing the work that they do. So if Missing Link were to win, I would be fine with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, at this point, I don't really care who wins the Oscars anymore because it's all a joke to me. But
they're more of a fun mess to watch now.
Yeah. Gooch Camper says, "Why no love for Abominable? Too much Coldplay." So, but talking about women empowerment, let's look at these nominees for Best Actress and Supporting Actress. So, nominees for Actress in a Leading Role are Cynthia Erivo for Harriet, Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story, which was the better performance from her. I can never pronounce her name. Saoirse. Is that how it's pronounced?
Saoirse, yeah.
Saoirse, that's pretty. Saoirse Ronan for Little Women, Charlize Theron in Bombshell, and Renee Zellweger in Judy. We don't need another Little Women. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people who love Greta Gerwig. She's a great director for what she does.
But do we need another one?
We don't need another Little Women.
And I love Saoirse Ronan. I think she's fantastic. But, yeah.
Bombshell also, okay, even more than giving a nomination for Charlize Theron in Bombshell, because Charlize Theron is amazing. She's going to act her ass off no matter what she's in. Bombshell, which is about these white women, newscasters who all look alike, has been nominated for Best Costume and Best Hair and Makeup. Really?
Just people in clothes.
Just white women's hair and makeup? We're going to award that over Dolomite Is My Name or other period movies? I mean, this is what's frustrating to me. I'm like turning red here. I don't doubt that all of these women are great in their performances, but they're not really. I don't know. I don't feel anything empowering about these nominations, especially not Harriet, which, if they were going to do a Harriet movie and actually told the story of Harriet Tubman in a way that is more truthful, then maybe I'd be more into it. But Harriet was a bit of a mess. And then actresses in supporting roles, Kathy Bates and Richard Jewell, Laura Dern in Marriage Story, who was also a great performance. Marriage Story, as much as I did not like the movie, had great performances in it, so I can't fault the performances. Scarlett Johansson in Jojo Rabbit, we've already discussed. Florence Pugh in Little Women, and Margot Robbie in Bombshell. So we're pulling from the same things, both categories. And Florence Pugh, I'm actually excited to see where her career goes because I do think she is a good actress. But in addition to not needing another Little Woman, her big role in Midsommar was not. She did what she was supposed to do well, but there just wasn't any gravity in that movie for me. I know a lot of people love Midsommar, but I feel like that movie was actually devoid of a story arc because there's no agency for her character. Her character is not actually anywhere different at the end of the movie than she was at the beginning of the movie, which is unfortunate. But Florence Pugh is the reason that I'm looking forward to the Black Widow movie more than Scarlett Johansson.
Are you gonna go watch that in the theaters?
Probably.
Should be yes, because you said this year you would watch movies even if you didn't watch them for them, so we could talk about them.
That's true, but I would see Black Widow. I'm just saying the only reason I wouldn't see because it's coming out at the beginning of the year. So if it's coming out that early, it's going to be on.
Just wait.
Yeah, I might just wait for it elsewhere. But I will probably see it in the theater. The only reason I'm hesitant is because I'm waiting for Marvel to give us something new, and I'm not sure if this is going to be new enough.
No, this is not going to be new. This is still phase 3, whatever we just finished, 3.
Yeah, so
it's not going to be.
Because I feel like the next phase of Marvel is going to shake things up a lot.
Yeah.
Which Eternals, which comes out later in this year, I'm very excited for. But I'm not really excited for Black Widow.
Yeah, I feel like, I'll see it, but I'm not going to run to the theater to see it.
Yeah. So my Wottie for Best Supporting Performance, since we're talking about supporting actresses, actually is going to Zhao Shushen, who played Nene in The Farewell, which the grandmother in Farewell. She's so cute and amazing, and you know her performance in that really. Awkwafina's great in it, but her performance in it really is what drives the plot of the movie. So she's great. Breakout performance, I'm going to give to. Hold on a second. Breakout performance I usually give to someone who is either new or new enough that they haven't really gotten their footing or recognition yet. And I feel like this actress finally... I had seen her in another movie, which was Escape Room, which was okay but not amazing. And her character, even though she's the main character that's on the poster... is kind of forgettable. Like there are things about the movie that are forgettable, and I didn't even realize that when I saw Waves that it was the same actress. She plays the sister Emily Williams in Waves, and I am blanking on her name, which is why I'm procrastinating while I try to find her name. Her name is Taylor Russell, and she's a great young actress who I'm very excited about. You know, what her career will be.
Carolina said ScarJo? She seems new.
ScarJo is only a little bit new. ScarJo is new as a tree. Just this past year,
she started of her roles.
Performing as trees, so she's new in that way. And then someone else who's also new that I want to recognize is Zach Gottsagen, who plays Zach in The Peanut Butter Falcon. I'm actually giving him the Wottie for Best Casting because he is an actor with Down syndrome, and I'm glad that they did not pick an actor without Down syndrome to play a character with Down syndrome. But he actually, you know, is a great actor in that movie. He pulls a lot on your heartstrings, and the chemistry between him and Sheila Both is really good. Sheila Both is someone else that I wish actually would be recognized by the Academy because he's growing in great ways. Like What?
He does himself a little disservice sometimes with his weirdness when he goes out and so they don't take him seriously.
I'm fine with that. I mean, personally, I'm fine.
That's what
with
I'm saying.
his
No, they
weirdness.
don't take him seriously because he's so weird.
Well, it's also, for some reason, the Oscars, the Academy likes to award young women with recognition, but they don't like to give young men recognition very well, because it's only now that even Leo DiCaprio, now that he's older and he's more into the scene, like he's friends with all of them now because he's grown up into that, that he's getting the recognition. And Leo's been a great actor for his entire career.
The whole time.
And he got snubbed a lot as a young man, like Titanic, Basketball Diaries. There are a lot of things that he could have been
like. The Revenant wasn't necessarily the thing that was his best work, but they were like finally like, okay, here's your Oscar.
Exactly. And that's another thing of the politics of the Oscars is that they will they will pick and choose where they put you in order to find a way to recognize you, whether you deserve that specific recognition or not. This year, Tom Hanks got nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a movie in which he was the lead.
Yeah. That's weird.
So the Oscars pull shit like that. They mix things around.
John Williams is nominated again for like the billionth time.
How many times has he actually won?
Like 11 or 12. Yeah.
But his scores are solid.
But
his scores are solid. So I'm not upset I'm not upset with people who actually do great work getting nominations. Yeah. It's people who are just like basic. When basic people get nominations, I'm just like, really? Because we have so much that is not basic in the industry right now that we don't have to give basic stuff. What are they talking about in the
First Cow?
First Cow.
Yeah. I actually had that trailer lined up for us.
I haven't seen the trailer. Should we have watched it? I just thought it was time to refer back to the chat, so I wanted to see what they were talking about.
They're talking about this A24 movie that I had lined up.
A24.
What's your name?
King Lou.
They call me Cookie. My mother died when I was born, and then my father died. I never stopped moving.
It's the getting started that's the puzzle. No way for a poor man to start.
You have a cow.
First cow in the territory.
This ain't a place for cows.
No, it's no place for white men either.
I sense opportunity here.
No, it just kind of looks like a...
Good Lord, give me another.
I'll give you 6 ingots for that last one.
I taste London in this cake.
We have to take what we can when the taking is good.
Seems dangerous.
So is anything worth doing? A royal cow.
And yet she barely produces a thing. Some people can't imagine being stolen from.
Let's hope he's one of those. We got a window here, Cookie.
History isn't here yet. It's coming, but maybe this time we can take it on our own terms.
It might be. It might end up being a good movie, but it kind of feels like one of those movies that's like a joke. Like
it does.
Movie like
well,
very much a movie about a guy with a cow.
I was personally waiting for the casting at the end of the trailer to say, and starring Scarlett Johansson as the cow. Because she could do it, you know. I guess I will go through some more of my Wottie recognitions. So I think that there wasn't a lot of big sci-fi this movie. I mean, sci-fi this year. So my science fiction movie of the year is actually Godzilla, King of the Monsters, which I enjoyed a lot.
It is,
another movie that I think deserves some recognition that was science fiction, but not really seen by most people, is Captive State, which actually starred Ashton Sanders, who was in Moonlight, and a bunch of other people. Actually, both of these movies, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and Captive State, have, gosh, I can't think of her name now.
ScarJo?
No, not ScarJo. The mom.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
I know, it's on the tip of my tongue too.
With the F and a V.
Yes, and when I
maybe an E in
we
there.
are horrible movie hosts. Vera Farmiga. Gosh, I can't believe that I forgot her name because I love her. But she's actually in both of those movies. John Goodman is also in Captive State, and Captive State is, oh no, it was streaming at one point, but it's not streaming anymore. But I think you can rent it from places. So check out Captive State. That's definitely worth your watch. My best in science fiction, though, goes to Godzilla, King of the Monsters, which I'm also giving best effects to. It was the only movie where the effects actually made me tear up a little bit. When, there's the moment where Mothra spreads her wings, and I'm just like, oh, it's so beautiful, and I love Mothra so much.
The shower scene.
Yes, Mothra's shower scene, because she's in a waterfall when that happens.
That's when I got up to go to the bathroom. I missed that.
You got up to go to the bathroom, missed that, and then you also got up to go to the bathroom and missed Chewie's big moment, which was like the best part of the movie.
I almost cried the second time.
You got to go to the bathroom before the movies.
No, I do, and then I drink a ton of
There is, I forget the name of the app, but there actually is an app that tells you when the best time to go to movies is. Like the Movie P app. I'm also going to give my best visual design, just, not necessarily effects, but just the visual way that the movie looks. I'm giving best visual design to The Lighthouse. I'm giving best audio design to Waves. And there's another one that I'm giving to Waves, best editing. Because, did I already? Oh no, here it is. Isaac Hagee and Trey Edward Schultz are the director or the editors for Waves. Trey Edward Schultz is also that movie's director. But I was kind of torn between Waves and The Farewell for best editing, because they both do really cool things with the way the movie are edited together. But Waves edged out just because the experience of watching Waves was something that I hadn't really experienced a lot in the theater, where the first part, and this is done because of the editing, the way that the film is put together, the first half of the movie sets you up to be very tense and aggressive and harsh, and then about halfway through the movie, there's a transition, and you start to follow a different character, and the whole second half of the movie is a more calm experience. But because you've been conditioned by the first half of the movie, it takes you the whole second half of the movie to calm down, because you keep thinking that something's going to happen. But then by the time credits roll, it's just like you can breathe. And you realize you could have breathed, you could have taken a breath a long time ago, but you didn't because of what the movie, set you up for. So I think that was a really creative and brilliant way to put that movie together and to tell the story of those characters. Best in horror is also going to go to The Lighthouse, because it wasn't really it was a good year for horror, but it wasn't really a huge horror win for me. There were a lot of things that I liked about horror movies in 2019, but no horror movie stood out as
Yeah, I think this is whole the genre
amazing.
lifted a little bit.
Yeah, the whole genre lifted a little bit for sure. I really loved Us, as I've already given Us a couple of awards. But the third act of Us, I still have problems with the way the first two acts were the way they tried to explain the first two acts and what was happening in the movie, I felt like the movie would have been stronger if they just didn't try to explain it, just let it be. So the third act kind of detracts from me a little bit. But everything else about Us is amazing. The Lighthouse was great, and The Lighthouse was one that I left the theater having enjoyed, but the more I thought about it, the more I appreciated it. I feel like The Lighthouse and Us really are both going to be movies that for the next couple of years, people are going to be analyzing and finding new angles to, because there are so many different ways those movies can be read and interpreted. So I think both of those movies are great, but
there was something about Us, because Amber just watched it. Oh, we watched Us. It was one of my other screeners, because Amber hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
She pointed something out. I was like, oh my God, I have to tell Will about this. No,
You
I
can't
don't remember what it is.
was?
I gotta write it down, because there's every now and then we'll watch a movie that we and I talked about, and she'll come from a different angle, and she'll say something. I was like, oh, wow.
This is why I love like everybody seeing these movies and talking about what they see in them, because you do get different angles like that.
And actually, Amber actually has a film degree.
We actually have to have Amber on the show more often, because I do like her opinions on movies. Even when she loves bad movies. Usually,
she loves bad movies.
Usually Amber and I love the same type of bad movies, so it's like, yeah, I agree with that. So yeah,
she made me watch Grease 2.
I love Grease 2.
She made me watch The Lost Boys, but then I liked it. And I was like, okay, that one was okay.
Grease 2 is an awful movie that I love. I would watch Grease 2 over Grease 1, to be honest. That's just me. Best in comedy.
Coach Camper says, Amber sounds cool as hell, Art.
Best in comedy and best in musical are both getting awards, or are both recognitions going to movies that I was saying that I'm surprised got snubbed by the Oscars. So best in comedy for me would be My Name is Dolomite. And best in musical would be Rocket Man. Like it's what other great musical came out this year? Cats. I just saw, this headline, I shared it online, but there's a headline going around saying that Cats and Midsommar are the same movie. And it's kind of true.
Yeah.
Like they're both kind of about this this girl who is abandoned by her family in a way, that ends up being initiated into a cult that is also a cult that's going to kill people. I mean, you replace people with cats, and it's
the same thing.
They're basically they're pretty similar once you think about it. And I thought that was interesting. Best in action, I'm going to give to First Love, which was a Miike action movie that was just like balls to the wall crazy. It was a lot of fun. So that's getting my best in action. Best in documentary, I've talked about a lot on the show. You guys can probably already guess what it is. Horror Noir, which is a Shudder exclusive. If you have Shudder, you should watch it.
If you don't?
If you don't, then you can probably rent it somewhere, or you can
Is there a
sign
free
up.
trial?
You can sign up for Shudder's free trial,
There
or
you
you
go.
can just pay for Shudder because it's only $4 a month, which is not a lot.
It adds up,
though. Well, I mean, if you're a horror movie fan, Art's not going to get it, obviously.
No.
Amber might. No, she wouldn't.
She might, and then I can watch all the movies I want for free.
The best short this year, I've also talked about on the show, is Kit Bull, which was Pixar's short about a little stray cat and a abused pit bull finding each other, and it very much feels like the way Dave and I met. So that might be biased in my opinion, but it's actually a really good short. And the best ensemble I'm giving to Parasite, because as a whole, the entire cast pulled their weight, and the way that movie goes through its intricacies is incredible, and all the cast are responsible for that.
Manly Met says, oh, that short made me cry, but good cry.
Yeah, it was a good cry. Have you watched it?
Mm-mm. But the other one we were watching, I almost lost my shit. I was like,
yeah, you did almost lose your shit.
Did you watch me?
So I came in early one day and started watching all of the Pixar shorts that are on Disney Plus, because they have this whole Pixar Sparks short program where they're just letting these directors, first-time directors, people who work at Pixar but have not actually directed before, direct these shorts. Kit Bull is one of them. What was the name of the other one that it was Float, I think
Float,
is the name of it.
yeah.
Art was losing his shit on that. And then there was another one called Wind, I think is the name of it, that was about this kid and his grandma, and Art just refused.
Oh, I was like, nope.
Art just refused to watch that one altogether.
Don't make me watch grandma things.
I really need you to watch The Farewell, though.
Okay.
The Farewell is a grandma thing, but it's
good. Yeah, if I watch it by myself, it's fine. By myself, grandma movies are great.
So yeah, all of Pixar is good at tugging on that emotional thing. The last Wadi that I have goes to the highlight of the year, which is not necessarily a movie, but maybe a movement or something major that happened in the year. For example, my highlight of the year last year was #MeToo, which is a big thing for the industry. My highlight of the year this year is the dragging of Hollywood elites. And I want to say not just like dragging ScarJo for all of her comments or dragging Martin Scorsese for his comments against Marvel, but also Martin Scorsese for his comments against Marvel. Like, not, you know, if you, no matter what side you pick on the Marvel Scorsese or Marvel other film director side, they're both Hollywood elites. And no one really is losing. I cheer on Martin calling out the monopoly that Disney has made, and Marvel plays into that a big deal. But I also am fine dragging Martin because he's doing a lot of things that he's complaining about.
For me, the Marvel thing wasn't necessarily about, oh, it's going to hurt Marvel, because I didn't care, because obviously it's not.
Right.
But it was more about the people who watch Marvel. Because it was almost like, because there's people who watch Marvel and love Marvel movies, and they're happy. If that's all they watch, they're fantastic and makes them happy. And then him saying that, the things he said, diminishes the audience.
Yes.
And that's what bothered me about it.
So the how I feel about Martin Scorsese is he wrote a letter to the editor, or open-ended letter, an open letter for people to read about his opinion. And I highly suggest that people read it, because what he's saying in it is he's clarifying in it that he is talking about the way that the industry props up certain movies where they aren't, allowing other smaller independent movies the same kind of thing, which is the same thing I'm complaining about the Oscars. So I'm totally there with Scorsese. The problem that I have with Scorsese's wording and what he's saying is, and this is something that I just went a tirade on Twitter about a couple of days ago, which is the definition that people are using of the word cinema. And the fact that Martin Scorsese says that Marvel movies are not cinema. The word cinema is all-encompassing for the industry. It's equivalent to saying Marvel movies are not movies, because cinema and motion picture are all about, like, those words are a way to define moving images, moving movies. That's where the word movies comes from. So to say that these certain movies aren't movies because they are created by a corporation or created by, or not created by an artist with a specific artistic vision is wrong. I think that if we understand the meaning of the word cinema and use it properly, then that will allow people who have problems with those movies to better explain what the problems are. The problems are not that that lowbrow, because there's always been this idea of lowbrow and highbrow movies and art. The problem is not that lowbrow movies exist. The problem is, because they always will. The problem is that we get these movies that are formulaic and don't push the industry in ways that these specific directors want. That's what they're complaining about. So I think that to just dismiss it as not being cinema is more of a problem than to say, like, this is bad cinema, that we can learn from and do better than, if that makes sense. It's sort of like our history. Like we keep dismissing that bad things happened in historical context, then we don't learn from those mistakes and move forward. If we acknowledge it and say that this is bad, we can move forward from this, then that's how we progress. So it's all in the way things are worded, and I feel like people can word things better.
And also where you're coming from. Like we talked about gatekeeping when it's
Yes.
when it's like I have this issues, but I'm coming here for this end, or I'm coming here this is because I don't like it and it hurts me, or I
Right.
feel like it gets in my way.
Right.
And there's different. You can be saying the same thing, but if you're coming from different angles, it matters. I think.
So that's why I'm fine with Martin Scorsese saying that, Disney is monopolizing
Because they are.
a lot of the theater going audience, because they are, yeah, but to just outright disregard it as being a part of cinema, because there are when you just outright disregard, you become exclusionary, and you're going to accidentally, it may not be your intention, but you're going to accidentally exclude things that are important. So for example, you say Marvel movies aren't cinema, like what Art was saying, that means that these movies aren't important at all to people, which is untrue, because we're getting movies like Black Panther, which is very important to black audiences, or we're getting movies
Latinos
like
in Star Wars.
Or what?
Latinos in Star Wars.
Latinos in Star Wars, or even Captain Marvel, which, this would be my angle. Captain Marvel was not a movie for me. I did not really enjoy it, but I would never say Captain Marvel is not cinema, because there are women who enjoy that movie and see themselves in that character and don't see themselves as often represented in other movies. So I'm not going to just completely disregard that movie just because it's not for me. That's the difference, is that Martin Scorsese is saying, like, I don't like these movies, so they're just not cinema. They don't exist at all. Like, that's bullshit. So anyway, that's my long-winded tirade about how to use our words better in a way that I probably could have used my words better. But those are all my Wotties for the year.
Awesome.
And if you're looking forward to watching the Oscars, they'll be on soon.
Yeah, we'll talk about it when they come out too. We'll have discussions about it. But we'll have the episode afterwards and have a discussion.
Yeah, it's
going to
be a day after, so yeah, I guess I'll have to watch them.
Cool. Do you have any recommendations for today?
You go first.
I have one. I haven't seen it. I'm recommending it just because I'm trying to go see it this weekend. I'm either gonna go see 1917.
Okay.
Which is nothing I'm recommending, because you should go see that anyways. But I'm gonna recommend Weathering with You, which is the next movie from the guy who did Your Name. So it's animated.
Oh, okay.
So it's not gonna be. It's generally playing in a lot of places because of Your Name, the popularity of Your Name. This one actually got a little better release.
Yeah.
So you're likely to find it. I think when I looked it up today, it was in all kinds of theaters.
When is that coming out?
That comes out this weekend. Comes out on this. I think comes out Wednesday. So I'm gonna try to watch this weekend. That or 1917. That's what I'm gonna try to watch.
1917 won the Best Picture at the Golden Globes, which was shocking because I don't think a lot of people were expecting that. Because Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Joker had swept the Golden Globes, and then that came out of nowhere and won like that and one other award. So I'm interested to see how that's going to play out at the Oscars. I keep saying I can't stand the Oscars, but I'm still going to watch. Yeah. I'm the worst kind of person. On that note, I'm actually not going to recommend something. I have a D recommendation. I have something that I'm warning you about. Do not go see this new remake of The Grudge that came out, because it was just awful.
Oh, was it really?
It was, I mean, as of right now, it's the best movie I've seen of 2020, but it's the only movie I've seen of 2020, and it's going to drop real quick. I literally gave it 1 star on Letterboxd. That is my recommendation. If you still don't have a Letterboxd account, come join us on Letterboxd. Art finally got one.
I did.
Danny Montooth has one.
It doesn't use it though.
He needs to. He needs to use it more.
I forgot I had one.
You do. You have one, and I already follow you.
I thought they left, by the way. They've just been sitting back there. Thank God it stopped making noise, because it was severely distracting.
Dave Davenport also has one. I guess Ryan
do you
has
have one
as well. But I haven't followed. I need to find you on there, Ryan. So, So
It's a lot of rom-coms on Ryan's.
The whole Perception studio mostly has one. Amber should get one. I would love to follow.
She's strong opinions.
I would love to follow Amber on it.
I'll tell her to make one.
So do not go see The Grudge because it sucked. And I feel kind of bad saying that because I tweeted about the Grudge marketing where they just threw up a hair weave and called it a poster, and the director liked my tweet, and so then I started following him on Twitter, and now I feel like.
Good feedback is good feedback. So maybe he'll learn from his mistakes.
I would tell you what's wrong with the movie without giving the movie away. It's a franchise, so I mean, you guys may have already seen previous Grudge movies. This movie is the most boring version of The Grudge I've ever seen. Like the actors, it's got an incredible cast. Like because I've seen all of these actors in other things. John Cho stars in it. So they're actors that I know are good, that can act. But for some reason, the direction in this just keeps everything kind of monotone and brown. Like it's just like Dave is saying it's like a flat line, and it really is. There's one moment in the entire movie that has actually got a little bit of tension, and it lasts for like a minute and then just kind of dissipates. And the climax is awful. Like
a bad date.
There's a moment in it where there's a ghost, or these places in the Grudge movies are haunted, and so they're ghosts in it that are kind of trying to make contact with other people and end up following in them or whatever to other places. So you're always cursed if you come into contact with a Grudge house. But there's a moment in the movie where the ghost is trying to show one of the lead characters something in the movie, and the audio actually has whisperings of, "I want to show you something," before it shows something.
Yeah.
And it happens like 3 times. It's like, "I want to show you something," shot of someone dying. "I want to show you something," shot of something else happening. "I want to like, really? Are we going to be that blatant with this movie? Can we not have can we not speak down to our audience? Like, just show it. You don't have to have a ghostly character off screen saying that they want to show something. It's a weird movie. It's just badly put together.
Don't go watch it.
So don't go watch that.
Right before we go, I just want to touch back on DS Lurker talking about the Scorsese thing. He says, exactly, that is the point that I have argued with friends. The mainstream movies that Scorsese prefers as artistic do not represent all of society. At least Disney is making movies that are inclusive and that also have empathy and the understanding of other cultures and perspectives. I can only stand so many mafia movies until they become the same.
Right. That's the thing, is that in order for changes to be made in the industry, they have to be made on a big scale, and only big mainstream movies can really do that. Like, because there are a lot of indie movies who are already showing us like great diversity, but because they're not in the mainstream, they don't get the recognition.
Yeah, we need a big guy to kick the gate open.
And as much as I can't stand Disney for reasons that you guys know, Disney, with their monopoly, it's like a catch-22. Disney has a monopoly, but at the same time, they're the ones that are pushing Black and women and Latino and all of these leads and characters that we don't get in other movies. Martin Scorsese ain't doing it. Terry Gilliam sure ain't doing it. Like... So
Quentin Tarantino sure ain't doing it.
Quentin Tarantino ain't doing it. So I mean, it's a catch-22, and the fact that that these other directors want to disregard that is a problem.
Guillermo del Toro ain't doing it. We're gonna work on him.
But he is.
He does a little bit. We'll talk about it later. He's not doing enough.
Well, I mean,
I need him to do more.
There can always be more to be. There's always more to be done.
I expect better from him.
Absolutely agree with that.
Except for John Jones. John Jones can be in everything.
But if if these directors were doing more of that, the directors that are complaining, if they would put money where their mouth is, then we wouldn't have this problem. If Martin Scorsese wanted to have a woman lead or wanted to have a black lead, I would not have a problem with that. But he ain't doing it. So there we go.
All right. We're going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for watching us. We'll be back tomorrow with Solon's Legacy and a brand new set. And then Wednesday, Perception Check. First episode of the... first full episode. We're back with a new campaign. Something's happening. But yeah, come back, join us here tomorrow at 7:30. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll Cinephilia you later. We did it.